What up guys, so today's video is about how to pass a really good half guard player's guard. I got asked this question. One of the guys says he's going with one of his buddies. His buddy has a really good half guard, always getting the underhook on him, and he's wondering how to deal with that. So I'm gonna show you guys a really good pass that will put you into a good spot and mount, ready to go for the submission. All right guys, so we're up against a half guard player. He gets his underhook here, pretty common, right? This is gonna happen to you if you go up against someone that's good at half guard. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna whizzer. I don't like to whizzer from this position because if I get here, Brandon can actually grab my wrist and he can sweep me over the other direction because I won't be able to post. So instead, I'm gonna get a Lego man grip right here on his lat, right under his armpit. He's got the underhook and I'm gonna pinch my elbow down tight. Now I wanna fight against his underhook because he wants to go up to the side here, okay? And I wanna keep him down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn across and I'm going to drive across his body. Once I'm here, here's the options that we're gonna look at. Number one, I could twist my hips and begin to go for my arm scoop position. For you guys that watch the channel, I have a whole playlist on that. I'll put it down in the links below. But we're gonna pass today. So he keeps his underhook here, he's protecting it. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna drive this knee. This is a super simple pass, straight through. At this point, they'll be tight on the ankles here, trying to hang on, right? So you can't get it out, and we're basically in a quarter mount position. Now, as he's trying to push this knee back in, his arm is exposed. And again, people will do this because they want to push this back in and then go back to his half guard. If he does not fight that and he stays here, well then I can just pass, right? So you'll almost always get that push right there. So this is our cue. This is our little like trigger to say, okay, he just touched my knee, go underneath the arm, and then I want to go back around the head. Now here's a detail. When we're here, first things first, I want to try to get him facing this direction, okay? I don't want him to be able to turn the other side, so what I'll do is I will shift my body if he's not already facing that direction, and I will drive his chin and his face to the same side of his arm. Now, if I can grab the back of his tricep here, that's great. I actually like to leave this arm like tight here, but open in case I need it, because sometimes you might be able to get someone that's big and you may need the post. Now, to finish the pass, here's a key. Because we're gonna be getting into a mount position, I wanna be really mindful of my hips. Like right now, if Brandon moves, see how much he moves me? Now watch this. If I get up a little bit higher, look how little I move, okay? So this is important. The hips are a big power center for the body, and especially on the bottom when they're in bad spots, a lot of times the hips, the drive, the bridge, that kind of stuff, that's how they knock us off balance. So what I'm gonna do here is when I finish this pass, I'm not gonna stay here to finish it. I'm gonna get up in my forehead over top here in a really high position. So now my chest is right on his face, very uncomfortable, and from here, he cannot do anything. If he bridges, nothing happens. And people will bridge to try to get out of this. Now, here's what we're gonna do. To pry that foot out, we're down here, we're posted on our forehead. By posting on our forehead, we can take a lot of the weight off of the legs, and I'm gonna take the fronts of my feet, right where your shoelaces would be. I'm gonna go on the inside, and I'm gonna begin to drive and extend my whole body against their face, and extending, boom, out. And as soon as we get to mount, spurs in, we're in a really strong spot. And here's something to keep in mind. One of the things that makes this such a great pass to mount is because when we get to mount, we have an arm and a head already tight. So for instance, if I wanted to go for a choke, that's an option. If I wanted to go for an arm lock, that's an option. One of the problems that I see a lot of people, especially my newer students, when they go to mount, but they don't have an arm secured, that person can immediately set up his frames and defense, right? If we get into a mount with whatever pass that we have right here and we take away one of his arms, that's really difficult for him to deal with because now he doesn't have his arms, he can't set up his frame. He has to defend his arm and his neck at the same time. That puts us in a stronger spot. That's something to keep in mind. Even if you don't use this particular pass, this is something to keep in mind no matter how you're getting to mount. Let's look at the pass one more time. So the guy gets the underhook here, Lego man grip, C grip right here, pinch the elbow down, drive across the body. We can turn back like we're gonna go attack the Kimura, but we're gonna push the knee down to the ground. Again, if he's holding us down, we will push it down, drive, as soon as he touches the leg. Underneath, face, shift and get him facing the same side to take away his ability to bridge towards me. Head higher up than your hand, prying out, and we're driving across his body, scraping our forehead on the mat. As soon as the leg goes free, spurs in, and we're in a great spot, ready to get into a higher mount and go for the submission.